so happy to have Dr. Briscoe here to speak, to introduce and start the show off. This is Colin's senior exhibition, so thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to take this off a minute, okay? Okay. It's a real honor for me to be here today. I believe on a personal level as well as sort of just an intellectual level about why we continue to teach art in university settings is art helps us to grapple with matters of life. It's a way for us to work through things and see things through a different lens, besides the fact of the actual sort of process and the joy and the toil of being an artist. I'm always very appreciative as someone who's dabbled in art over the years, and there's nothing better than spending a Saturday afternoon at a museum, as far as I'm concerned, or an art gallery, because it gets me to think about things differently. You know, when you get to see the lens of an artist and what they're choosing to grapple with through their art or celebrate, it always teaches us all. So I'm always very grateful for the fact that there are people in this world that are motivated to be artists and writers and poets, because we need that to be part of who we are to be engaged civil society. So I want to thank the faculty, especially at town, for nurturing our young artists to be able to have voice and to be able to make work like this and clearly feel comfortable that they can do this in a place like Holy Family. That's why I'm here, because I believe that that's what Holy Family is all about. That we really are welcoming and accepting of everyone. And I hope that that's exactly what your experience has been here. So thank you. It's a joy. It's difficult to see the work and know that it represents very personal struggles. But I hope you feel that through the work, it's been some sort of cathartic experience for you, right? And then these stories will be very compelling for other people who are unfortunately probably trying to work out some of the things that you're working out. So in terms of acceptance and where do I belong, and I hope you always feel like you belong here with us. So thank you all.
You.
I want to look at the lunch.
Okay, so now Colin is going to read his artistic statement, and then he's going to talk about his work, and it'll be open Q&A. So,
oh, fabulous!
Yes.
Thank you. Wonderful. Great.
Do you ever hear those voices that talk down to you? You're too femme. You're too weird. You are a faggot. No one will ever love you. Your family does not love you. They've disowned you. You will die alone. You will never have a place to call your own. Everyone is watching you. Please make it stop. Just make the voices stop. Even for a minute, make them go away. Shut them out. Shut everyone out. End it. No one will care if you weren't around. Someone help me. Give me something. Something to make it stop. A drink, drugs, sex, attention. Just make it all stop. For many members of the queer community, we are faced with obstacles to overcome, and these can be life-altering and psychologically damning for us. Someone's family can force them to come out and throw them out at the same moment. Others are scared of finding love in a judgmental and sex-driven community. There are those who feel ashamed of who they are and who they love and think of ending it before coming to terms with it. The purpose of this collection is to shed light on anxiety and fear of the queer community, especially how young many of these people are when they deal with these obstacles. This show reflects much of my coming out experience, where I've gone from being outed and disowned to finding myself in multiple abusive relationships, one psychological and mental, the other physical and sexual. I'm not proud to say, but I've turned to alcohol and drugs, as well as not eating to temporarily numb the pain of life. I was able to find my way back, and with the help of many people, rebuild my life and get back to a healthy mental and emotional state. I look at my relationship with people, alcohol, drugs, and much more through a new lens now. I want to show the audience my experience and how it can mirror that of some people, many much younger than I am, who might not have the help and resources to find their way out of darkness.
So if you'd like to just highlight some of your pieces and use the mixed media, and then so it'll be fun.
Okay, 1 minute. Where do you want me to start? I guess I can start with this second one over here. So the piece is called Words Cut Deeper Than Knives. This was kind of an homage to every single slur a gay male could ever hear, such as like AIDS monkey, sissy, faggot, femboy, homo. Every time, especially when I hear those words, it feels like a literal knife in my back. And I feel like no matter how many times I can pull that knife out, it's always gonna go back in. This third one is called Down to You. It is a lot of like collage fabric, and it was a kind of my way to deal with a extremely abusive relationship where I was sexually assaulted by this person, and regardless of how many times I fought with him viciously and whatever else happened, I always went back to him just because of coming out, being disowned. It felt like everything in my life was going wrong, but like at least there was always one constant person there. So regardless if we fought or whatever, I could just forget. I was like, okay, but at least he's here at the end of the day. This next one is called #SkinnyLegend. And with a piece like this, I understand the title could be very like, I guess, like topical or like a little bit questionable for a lot of people. Just because in the queer community, body image is such a big thing, and you have to look the right way. You have to be really thin, or you have to have muscles, or this or that, or this or that. And me growing up through it, I was like, okay, well, you have to be really skinny. That's just what people like about me. It's what people find very attractive about me. And especially coming out, I went through a period of not eating, like I said. I think I was around 120, 115 pounds, and it was like my ribs were extremely visible. My face was completely sunken in, and I was like, this is what people find attractive at the end of the day, so we're gonna keep going with it. The next one's called On the Rocks. Rated around, prior to turning 21, alcohol was like my best friend at the end of the day. It got me through so much. And regardless of what happened at the end of the day, I could just drink and forget it ever happened. And then turning 21, I was like, ooh, I have money and I can legally buy this. I'm gonna do it regardless. And no one's gonna stop me at all. And then over quarantine and everything, I started looking at everything differently and was going, why am I doing this? It's just not working for me at the end of the day. So I made a promise to myself to never have a drink on a bad day. And it's one I still struggle with day to day just because it's right there in front of me and like I really want to have a drink, especially if work was hard or oh, I failed a test, I want to have a drink. But it's still a promise I keep to myself. And the glass on here was, I think it was the first like legal bottle I could ever buy. It was a Pinnacle whipped cream vodka brand. And then these next two are honestly what I'm gonna say like my two favorite out of the entire series. Just because it was the light at the end of the tunnel for me. I found myself in the best relationship I could ever find myself in. It's full of happiness. Me and him, we don't take ourselves too seriously at the end of the day, which is why we always love a strawberry milkshake whenever we go out to a strawberry milkshake. And whenever we talk about something serious or we're in a fight, we always make up in a way with a pinky promise. As childish as it sounds, it's what keeps our relationship really down to earth. And this next one is called 120620. This was our 1-year anniversary, and I wanted to paint it. The stars in the sky are like a star map of what the stars looked like over where we went for our 1-year anniversary. And the middle finger over here on the end is really significant to me just because to this day, I still see the glances from people looking at me or looking at us. I hear the words constantly, and like at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't care what you say, I'm here, we're here, I'm not going anywhere. So like, get used to it or go do you somewhere else. So the next one is called Why Do All the Monsters Come Out at Night? This honestly is like the biggest, most time-consuming piece I've ever done. It's 5 canvases put together, and it was supposed to be, I had so many ideas I wanted to put down on paper, and I tried to consolidate them in a way. So instead I decided, well, I'm not going to consolidate it, so I'm going to put it all on one big canvas and see what happened at the end of the day. I wanted to put my fears with anxiety, how people look at me, drinking, the drugs, everything having a hold on me. And then with all the dried flowers, it honestly was a process that started one day and I didn't realize why I was doing it, and I still constantly get asked, why do you do the flowers, why do you do the flowers? But it really didn't dawn on me until this semester when I was taking a loss and grief class, where randomly one day, randomly one day in class we got on the topic of like flowers for memorials, and I just started to realize like, huh, maybe that's why I'm starting to do it, because in a way it is memorializing all of the hurt I've been through, and especially the roses and carnations. Those are generally the flowers at funerals, and I really wanted to, they're honestly like my favorite flowers to begin with, and then watching them age and dry is honestly one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, because I love watching the color slowly fade away. And then this whole last series I just did within like a month, maybe 2 months. There are 8 different dry points of houses that have been like really significant in my life, because in every single house I've had something either like traumatic or life-changing happen, and I wanted to like reflect on what happened there and kind of give my past self some advice. Be like, here's what's gonna happen. I'm so sorry this is gonna happen, but like, I wish you or me had someone here to say, it's gonna get okay at the end of the day. And honestly, I can say by the final piece, my life is so much better now. Like, I'm not who I was 2.5 years ago. I can have people vouch for me. They will look at me and go, you're not who you were 2 years ago. And I'm very grateful for it at the end of the day.
Anybody have questions for Colin? Process, anything? I'll be with, yes, got that one.
And then just to touch on that whole idea of I'm such a better person now, this last piece is called Beautiful Trauma. It's how I view myself. Like, I might be broken, but there's still beauty there at the end of the day, and I just wanted to give myself like a physical representation of, end of the day, here you are. Like, take the trauma with the beauty.
Questions? I will attest to, he is fantastic at problem solving. From the knives, where I said, you can't have real knives in school. How to figure that out, to putting these 5 canvases together, to drawing out the flowers and having them not so brittle that it wouldn't work. Everything, he has just taken the problems and figured it out, which is part of being an artist. Logistics is a main thing. So thank you so much, Colin.
Thank you. Just to touch on that whole idea of I'm such a better person now, this last piece is called Beautiful Trauma. It's how I view myself. Like, I might be broken, but there's still beauty there at the end of the day, and I just wanted to give myself like a physical representation of, end of the day, here you are. Like, take the trauma with the beauty.
Questions? I will attest to, he is fantastic at problem solving. From the knives, where I said, you can't have real knives in school. How to figure that out, to putting these 5 canvases together, to drawing out the flowers and having them not so brittle that it wouldn't work. Everything, he has just taken the problems and figured it out, which is part of being an artist. Logistics is a main thing. So thank you so much, Colin.
Thank you. Just to touch on that whole idea of I'm such a better person now, this last piece is called Beautiful Trauma. It's how I view myself. Like, I might be broken, but there's still beauty there at the end of the day, and I just wanted to give myself like a physical representation of, end of the day, here you are. Like, take the trauma with the beauty.
Questions? I will attest to he is fantastic at problem solving. From the knives, where I said you can't have real knives in school. How to figure that out, to putting these 5 canvases together, to drawing out the flowers and having them not so brittle that it wouldn't work. Everything he has just taken the problems and figured it out, which is part of being an artist. Logistics is a main thing. So thank you so much, Colin.
Thank you. Just to touch on that whole idea of I'm such a better person now, this last piece is called Beautiful Trauma. It's how I view myself. Like, I might be broken, but there's still beauty there at the end of the day, and I just wanted to give myself like a physical representation of end of the day, here you are. Like, take the trauma with the beauty.
Questions? I will attest to he is fantastic at problem solving. From the knives, where I said you can't have real knives in school. How to figure that out, to putting these 5 canvases together, to drawing out the flowers and having them not so brittle that it wouldn't work. Everything he has just taken the problems and figured it out, which is part of being an artist. Logistics is a main thing. So thank you so much, Colin.
Thank you.